Go ahead.
Yes. Well, let's get back to fractional reserve banking. Alex, you were exactly right, except what my elite friend told me was that they're going to take these $40 billion worth of mortgages, your house, the shopping center down the street, the small business that use real estate to obtain its mortgage, and they're going to fractionally reserve that. I don't have time to give it in detail.
No, go ahead. We got 20 minutes to the next hour. Break down.
$40 billion becomes $360 billion that they are investing in the derivative market, and in 3 months' time, the Federal Reserve will be making off of your house $1 trillion with the money they pulled out of thin air. They're making a 90% profit. Now, sit down. Please, everybody, hold on to your chair. I want to tell you the next one. I got to hurry. I asked my elite friend, I said, okay, they pull $30 billion out of thin air. Yes. I said they're going to invest these mortgage-backed securities in the derivative market. Las Vegas one-arm bandit gamble. Yes. I said, what are the lending institutions? Are you catching this, people? Please, you cannot imagine how important this is. The lending institutions, J.P. Morgan Chase, Citibank, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, Fannie, Freddie. I said, what are these lending institutions going to do with $40 billion each month that they are given by the Federal Reserve? Are you ready? He said, Chaplain, it has already been decided behind closed doors. He said the agreement was made long before Mr. Bernanke ever made his announcement that they would buy these mortgage-backed securities from the banks. And he said that money, the $40 billion that the lending institutions are going to receive, it has been previously guaranteed by them that they will turn around and buy treasuries with it. No, you haven't heard this anywhere. Only he could have possibly have known it. I said, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that this $40 billion that the lending institutions are going to receive is not going to help the real estate market? No. I said, it's not going to do anything for the recession? He said, no. I said, what about the economy? He said, no. I said, they have promised the Federal Reserve that they'll turn around and buy T-bills. Folks, did you catch this? T-bills, which pays the interest on the national debt. Not one penny of this money is going to go to you folks. $40 billion out of thin air, which depreciates the value of your currency, and in turn they're going to have a previous behind closed doors agreement that these lending institutions will buy treasuries, which pays the interest on the national debt in order to maintain the American dollar for a few more months until they're ready to collapse all of the currencies of the world. Okay, I don't have time to give any more. I've got to go to the next one. My elite friend told me so much in this, Alex, until I just wish I had 3 or 4 hours with your audience. My elite friend, after we got through with that, I was so stunned, I was literally speechless, and I said, okay, tell me a few other things. And I begun to just talk to him one-on-one. You want to know what the elite learned out of Thursday, September the 13th, 2012? Now, you definitely won't get this from any other source whatsoever. He said, Chaplain, basically what we've learned is that the American people will give in. They're not going to protest. He said, we're not going to have any revolution. He said, there are not going to be any riots in the street. I'm going to put it in my words because I want to shame you. Every person out there, you're going to belly up. The elite are expecting you now to become slaves, and your children and your grandchildren, when nobody rose up and in arms about $40 billion out of thin air, your house being invested in the derivative market. A Chinaman may own it. A Russian may own your house. And then you did nothing about it, and now there will be no improvement in the economy because those scoundrels who call themselves the lending institutions will now, by prior agreement, turn around and buy treasuries, T-bills, in order to keep the American economy afloat. And the elite have learned something about Americans. They have learned that the Americans aren't going to do anything. Now I want to give you the facts. You go back and look this up for yourself for last week. Write it down, please. on Thursday, September the 13th, instantaneously upon the announcement of Ben Bernanke as to the fact that the Federal Reserve was going to buy $40 billion worth of mortgage-backed securities. Instantaneously, that moment, gold went up $49, just like that. That's 3%. Silver went up $3. That's 9%. Gasoline went up 15 cents instantaneously at the gas pump. That's 4%. Now, wait a minute. I know what you're going to say as soon as I say this next statement. Gasoline did not go up 15 cents. Folks, are you catching this? Please, you must understand this. You've got to think this through. Gasoline is 4 quarts to the gallon. When Mr. Bernanke made that statement, you went to the gas pump and it was 15 cents higher. No, it wasn't. It was not. Gasoline is still 4 quarts to the gallon. The currency that you purchased that gasoline with lost in its purchasing. But you wonder why I made the statement, why my elite told me back a year and a half ago the dollar would be dead by the end of 2012. You haven't seen anything yet. I've only told you a fraction of what the briefings are they've given me recently. That dollar went down 15 cents in purchasing power instantaneously upon Mr. Bernanke's announcement. The gasoline is still 4 quarts to the gallon and didn't go up.
Sure, the point is the media lies and says it's only speculators driving up the price of oil, driving up the price of food. No, it's dollar devaluation. It happened the day they did it.
The dollar lost its purchasing power instantaneously upon that very moment. Now, you think about the groceries. Now, I have a question for you. I mean, oh, my goodness, folks.
They're going up 10% a month every month in the last 6 months.
Folks, are you catching this? Your house mortgage was used to invest in the Las Vegas one-armed bandit. Secondly, the institutions that you have placed trust in, the banks that you have your money in, are not going to help the economy. They are going to turn around and buy T-bills to bail out the Federal Reserve and keep them afloat just long enough until they're ready for the collapse to take place. The elite have learned that you aren't going to do anything about it whatsoever.